Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. It's been a while. Where have I been? In my room, pretty much. My office space in the corner, been working there. And yeah, I've been here, right here, in this very spot. Maybe I might have moved my chair like a foot or two, but I've been here this entire time. Where else have I been? My kitchen, my living room, entertainment space out here, garage a couple of times, bathroom always. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Might have taken a walk around the block. My life has not been exciting this past year. However, I am super excited that we are over with 2020 and we've started a brand new year. Still can't believe it. Still can't believe that 2020 even happened. But hopefully we are on a path now towards a better future, a healthier future, and hopefully closer to saying goodbye to this pandemic that has affected everyone's lives around the world. Whether you lost a loved one or not, whether you lost your job or not, whether you got sick or not, in some form, it's affected all of us, and it's changed our lives completely. And we are living currently this new normal of wearing masks, using hand sanitizer, distance from people, not hanging out. We're on lockdown again. Businesses are closed. People doing takeout now. It's crazy. What has happened, or what have I done throughout this entire year? First off, I was not wanting to film anything throughout 2020 because there was just so much happening and I just wasn't in the right mood or mindset to want to film anything, in all honesty. And I just couldn't be in front of the camera. I was not feeling it at all. I mean, first off, let's start. Okay, I went through a pretty sad 2019 personally. And I was just wanting to get 2019 over and done with. I wanted to be done with that year. I was looking forward to 2020. I'm like, this is going to be the year that good things are going to happen. Remarkable things are going to be heading my way. And New Year came and I was ecstatic. January started off with a really great start. March came around and it all just went downhill. Pandemic started. Never in my mind did it ever cross that I would ever in my lifetime witness or go through a pandemic that would affect so many people and be in this bubble, or in this I don't know, cave of like uncertainty and fear. Not only for myself, but for like my loved ones and my friends and my family, and not knowing, okay, who's going to be infected, who's going to really have it hard, who is going to die from it. I tried so hard not to think about it, but yet I knew that we were living in new times. We started working from home remotely. I was actually really excited to work from home. It was unfortunate that it had to take a pandemic to make it happen, but I was actually pretty excited and looking forward to it, because I thought, okay, this is my opportunity to actually create a bit more balance where I can work from home, I can step away, I can take care of my health, get back to my goals, and just have this balance in life. Little did I know that it was not going to go that way, and it was going to be an absolute sideshow. Without saying the word sideshow, let's use that, sideshow. And you know, in the first month or 2 months, it started out great. I started to develop a routine for myself. I would wake up in the morning, I would have breakfast, and I would start work. Come around lunchtime, I would actually work out. So I would work out in the garage for like at least a half hour to 45 minutes, take a shower, step out of the shower, and continue on with my day. It was great, but 1 or 2 months after that, things started slipping. I started to not work out. I started to not go on my walks. I started to be inside, and I found myself struggling to break away. And I think that's one of the things that you would never expect, or at least people who are used to working from home or who are used to being their own boss, doing their own thing, not working for other people. I think that's something that it's not shared often. It can be actually more difficult to create separation than if you were to be in the office, physically in the office. In the office, I would at least, go on a walk because I would force myself to break away from that space and go on a walk and get some fresh air, eat some lunch, and come back and continue on with my day. Come around 4 or 5 o'clock, I was out the door. The moment you start working from home though, like everyone expects that you are connected always. I was having a hard time separating. There were moments where I wasn't eating lunch. I was skipping meals. I was working late until 1 in the morning. I would be having dinner sometimes and I would get pinged because something needed to be done. I would be stuck in meetings. Oh my God, so many meetings in 2020, so many meetings. And most of the time I was like, why am I in this meeting? I'm not contributing to anything. I'm not making a difference. What am I doing here? And it would soak up my day from other things that I needed to do and I needed to get done. And yeah, I would find myself working overtime, working until 1 in the morning, completely exhausted. Instead of working out during lunch, I was taking a nap during lunch. And then after work, I would find myself going on 2-3 hour nap times because I was tired and exhausted and stressed. It was the only way to get things done. I found myself not having that balance. I basically didn't have time for myself at all. As hard as it is to actually believe, you're like, well, you're working from home, you're not commuting anywhere. Like, how do you not have time? It's very easy. It's very easy not to have time. Your space of escape and relax and get away from the world and shut from the world becomes your workspace, your office. And so you're literally working in the space that you would use to find peace and distraction and to just break away from everything. And it's hard to do that. Like I'm like, where am I going to go? Am I going to hang out in the living room? I'm not going to hang out in the living room. Where else can I hang out? In the kitchen? I'm like, what am I going to do in the kitchen except eat and then stuff my face and gain more weight? Which, by the way, I did gain some weight, but who hasn't throughout this pandemic? That's what happens when you're sitting down all of the time, you're not exercising, and you're not moving. You can pack on a little bit of weight. So I packed on a little bit of weight, but it's okay because it's a brand new year and I am going to work hard into regaining myself and my health back. That's the goal. And not only that, my mood was affected as well. I never knew what version of myself I was going to get. And I realized probably midway that I was struggling and I was having a really, really difficult time. I didn't feel motivated. Not only that, but all of it was affecting me emotionally, mentally, and physically. I was so stressed and exhausted that those two combined affected everything about myself. I've always been really good at remembering things, and I'm always writing everything down, and I always say, if I don't write it down, I'm not going to remember. But even before then, I've always had a pretty strong mind, and I'm very good at remembering things. But there came a moment where I was forgetting so much, and it started to concern me. I was forgetting a lot. I was forgetting even the tiniest details. I was even forgetting like things that I've known all of my life. I would be having a conversation with someone and, they would say, hey, do you remember this and this back in the day? Do you remember this and this? Or do you remember this person? Do you remember when we did this? Do you remember? And I was just like, no, I don't. And it was repeated to me so many times, wow, your memory is awful. You have terrible memory. Yes. And not because I wanted to, but because I was just so lost in everything that I had no room and no capacity in my brain to retain information, to process information, and to even remember things, and that was concerning me. The other thing that I had noticed that it was affecting me was my speech. I started to notice that I was just jumbling my words more frequently than ever, and it was concerning me, and it was making me feel uncomfortable, and kind of dumb and stupid. Like, I would be in meetings, and the moment that I would speak, I would just get my words twisted, and my words would get jumbled, that what I wanted to say in my mind, I knew what I wanted to say, but the words weren't coming out as I had wanted them to. And it was frustrating for me. There came a moment where I just wasn't comfortable to have conversations with people or to even say anything. So sometimes I just kept quiet. My memory and my speech, they were being affected. I've regained a little bit back. My memory is still not as crystal clear. I still struggle a little bit, but I will say my speech has actually transformed a tad. It was just too much. Not only that, not only the pandemic, but obviously, with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, there were a lot of protesting and rioters across the nation. Portland was one of the cities that just got destroyed completely. Like, local businesses were broken into, their stuff was stolen. Even to this day, right now, as I am filming, we still have malls and stores boarded up. Graffiti is still there. There's like trash everywhere. We've always, for a while now, we've had a problem with homeless in our city, and even other like states know about it, but it's actually gotten worse. That the moment you enter the city, you just see people camped out. You see their tents. You see like them in the parks and just sleeping on the sidewalks. Like, it's just gotten so overboard, and it's so sad at the same time. It's so sad to just see them just sleeping and living their lives like in the streets, and no one, or at least for me, I think no one is doing anything. If there was anything being done, they wouldn't be camping out in the parks or anything. I've just seen it getting worse. Portland is not the same as it was before, unfortunately, and it's sad because I've always loved Portland. I love my city, and I just rarely ever go to downtown now because I don't know what I'm going to expect. Portland in general is pretty safe compared to other cities and states and stuff, but it's like, for me, like, I would even just drive to downtown sometimes, and I would just go on a walk at the waterfront or at Pioneer Square, or just walk around by myself, and I would feel absolutely fine. With the protesting and everything, that just kind of took it away, that I was not comfortable to be in downtown, to be alone, to go on a walk after a certain hour. Like, it's just so different now. And I think that the only opportunity we have to actually bring back our city to the way that it was before visually, is probably once this pandemic is over. Because I think as long as this pandemic is still going on, places are probably still going to be boarded up. Businesses closing permanently, temporarily, because they're being affected. Aside from that, we also went through wildfires. Washington, Oregon, California, wildfires. On top of that, I'm like, what else could possibly go wrong in this year? All we need is that earthquake and tsunami to occur that everyone's been talking about. We went through wildfires. We went through days and weeks of not seeing clear skies, of being in smoke. People were having to evacuate their houses. Some of them got burned down because of the fires. People were leaving town. Airbnbs were getting filled up because everyone is like, where am I going to go? We're in the middle of a pandemic. Airbnbs are getting filled up. Some are not even comfortable to rent an Airbnb from strangers because of COVID. It's like, where could you go? I ended up staying. So the smoke was pretty bad in my area. Luckily, though, I have 3M masks that I used, which if there was any moment that I had to step outside, I would just put the mask on, and it would help me so much that I could not smell anything outside. I rarely went outside because the moment you would open the door, or the moment that you would open the garage, that smoke and that scent would just come in, and I was trying so hard to make sure that no smoke would come in the house. So I would actually put blankets on the cracks of the doorways. I would make sure that, you know, the doors were immediately closed, because even if there was no smoke in here, they would actually get through the ventilators and you could smell it. Even if you couldn't see it, you could smell it. And it was awful. And I thought, what is happening? Like, this has to be a sign. This has to be a sign of something. It made me really appreciate more at that moment of my home and the simple things, because Oregon is so green. It's full of nature, so many places to hike, and waterfalls and rivers and trails and everything. And it was just so sad to see it covered in smoke and burning. You would just look out the window and it would be like this ugly yellow hue that anytime I was filming a story on Instagram, it would look like I had on this really ugly yellow filter on me. And I didn't. It was just what the outside was reflecting. And there were weeks where I didn't see the sun. I didn't see a cloud. I just saw smoke. And it just made me really miss the simple things like going on a walk, smelling fresh and clean air. I also thought, God, like there's so many places around the world that probably go through this all the time, and you have people who have lost their homes, or they live on the streets, or they live in places where they don't have access to clean air, or live in constant pollution. Like, so many things was just filling up my mind, and I thought, as much as we're having it bad right now, it could always be worse. And once things clear up, like, I will not take a walk for granted. I will not take clean air or oxygen for granted. Like, just everything. And the moment, the one day where I actually saw the sun peeking through, it was like in seconds. I was so happy that I started crying. I hadn't seen the sun or the sky. And even though it was only a matter of seconds, I grabbed my phone and I just took a picture because I didn't want to miss it, because I didn't know how long it would be until I would have that moment again. Luckily now things have cleared up and everything is good, but man, it was just so bad, so bad. Went to Mexico, not for vacation though. Let me make that clear. It was not for vacation. Had to go there for different reasons, but it was a trip that needed to be done. And I was nervous as heck. The thought of just getting on a plane in the middle of a pandemic, not knowing what could happen, not knowing the risk that I would be placing myself, like so many things. But luckily the trip went well. I noticed a lot of things, which I will be writing a blog post about, especially for those who are needing to or wanting to travel during the pandemic. Again, I am not recommending anything. Only you know how safe and cautious you should be, and I don't want to encourage traveling or flying anywhere. But if for whatever reason you do have to, because of personal reasons or because of work, I will be writing a blog post of what to expect if you're traveling, and also observations that I noticed while I was in Mexico, in a different country in the middle of a pandemic. So I will be writing those blog posts, so stay tuned for that. Holiday season started and I finally was able to get a break. Things started to slow down and I was mentally and emotionally healing and setting myself to be the person that I was before. I'm reading now, so I've gotten back into reading my books. I've been able to just get a mental break, and it's been wonderful, because it was something that my mind and my body and my soul and my spirit was yearning. For this new year, I want to get back into my health. I want to make sure that I don't place myself last again. I want to make sure that I take care of myself emotionally, mentally, and physically. So many things. And I did create a blog post listing my attainable goals, so be sure to go check it out on my website. I wanted to make sure that they were specific and realistic and not setting myself up for failure, because there's nothing worse than being vague on goals and not really having a direction. So check them out. Hopefully they will inspire you, because if there's anything that I really took out of 2020 is that it's all about the simple things. and it's all about your health and your well-being and family and friends and loved ones. We're all heading in the same direction, and there's going to come a time where we will have to leave this earth. We will not be leaving with possessions or money or anything like that. We will be leaving with stories and memories and heart and love and everything, and that's what really matters. And so for me, it's like health is a priority, and I really want to enforce that this year. Other than that, I am pretty excited for this new year. I'm excited to get back into blogging. I've already written a bucket list for my blog for Reels, which I just created. I meant the Reels on Instagram, like not full Reels, but for Reels. So I've created my first Reels on Instagram, and I have a bucket list of like ideas that I want to do. I've also created a Pinterest account. I've created a TikTok account, and I've posted my first video on there. I don't know how frequent I'm going to use it, but it exists. And I've also created a bucket of YouTube ideas that I want to create for my channel. And I'm just really excited about this. I really want to make sure that I have balance in my life. I want to make sure that I take care of myself. I want to make sure that I don't lose myself, and I become true to who I am and what I'm about and what I stand for. Let's just hope that this year will be better than the last. I really hope that this year is a path towards healing and recovery and towards normality, where we can all be able to comfortably sit at a table and just enjoy a meal and share stories and create more memories. So if you guys have any ideas of what you would like to see on my channel, please let me know. I would love to hear what they are. I wish you all a happy new year. I wish you all time for yourself, time for your friends, and time for your loved ones, whether you are near or far away. I also wish you success and health above all. But I also hope that this year is filled with opportunities and dreams, and to remember that you are worthy, and that you are loved, and that you are valued, and that you are appreciated. I hope that it's a year that you will get rid of anything or anyone that is toxic in your life. And if things don't go as planned, I hope that that is only a window towards a greater opportunity. An unexpected surprise, because sometimes things happen for a reason, even if you may not understand what they are at the moment. Stay strong, have faith, and be hopeful. So that is all I wanted to say. So thank you all for watching my video. Please subscribe. I would love it, because this is going to be the year where you are going to see a lot of me. A lot of me, and I'm really excited and happy about it. Follow me on my Instagram account, because I'm active all of the time. I'm also on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter. Check out my website. Subscribe to my newsletter. Anything that I post on my website, you will get updated on weekly. Not every day, because who wants to get spammed with emails on a daily basis? Not me. That's why I only keep it like once a week. So my newsletter is once a week, and that will update you on all of the content that I write on my blog, and any other things that I will be noting on my newsletter. So be sure to subscribe on there. Everything is confidential, not shared with anyone. All you have to do is just enter your email on this pop-up thing that I've created. Happy New Year, and I will see you all later. Bye.